Hi guys, I'm Shmee and today we're at Moll Sportwagen, the Aston Martin dealership in Dusseldorf, Germany. Now the reason I'm here is to pick up the Vanquish, so kind of being reunited with my Vanquish Volante, ready for the next part of the Where's Shmee Eurotour. Now Moll have been looking after the car for me. It's been on display in the showroom. Some of you guys have come down to see it, as well as the Aston Martin dealership. They also have the McLaren dealership just over there as well, so kind of the British corner of Dusseldorf, Germany. But it was a bit weird flying up here. We got on a flight from Milan up to Dusseldorf, Italy to Germany, having only a few days earlier flown from Florence to Frankfurt, Italy to Germany, having driven back to Italy in the meantime. So this tour is literally like dotting us all over Europe, going everywhere in every direction. But today is picking up the Vanquish and just chilling out, having fun around the Dusseldorf area, and yeah, just enjoying life, because hey, what's not to enjoy with a car like this? But given I've barely driven the thing, it is literally like picking it up again. It's coming back to collect and take delivery of the car and go out on our adventures with the carbon black edition Vanquish Volante, which I'm really quite excited to drive again. So that's going to be coming out in a moment. We've already put our luggage into the boot. So if I come around actually and just show you this, because I think it's quite impressive how much stuff you can fit in the back here. Lift that up. We have a decent number of bags, and even under here is my suitcase on the left, at the bottom. Then, what, 3 other decent sized bags, 2 laptop bags, excuse the Ferrari logo. I've got an Aston Martin bag, brand new. That makes up for it, I think. But plenty of luggage for the 3 weeks or so, without having to put anything in the back seats, other than, I think there's just a jacket down there, but you've got that extra space as well. So perfect Grand Tourer car for this kind of adventure. While we're here, let's take a quick look around the other cars in the showroom. So you've got a nice new DB11, beyond that V12 Vantage S Roadster, the V12 version of my GT8, and this is an N430, so this is based on the V8 Vantage, similar I suppose to the GT8. Very fun car to drive, and with this livery they've put on, the John Player Special with the gold over the top of the black, I think it looks quite cool as well. I mean, we've seen the livery, it comes from the old Formula 1 team. Looking good on there. Anyway, we're picking up the Vanquish. It's probably time to fire that up. I've just noticed that there's actually another Vanquish sat next to mine, but we'll get the car started and roll on out. So it's kind of this new car feeling again. It would help if I unlocked it though. Right, there we go. Let's jump in, head around the back, let's start it up. V12 in here is good. Welcome in.
Thank you.
So I have some things to sort out. Get the car set for the road. Chargers, screen mounts, all this kind of stuff. I still like using Waze, but mostly ready. Find a way to secure that. Rolling out then. And we're following the Maserati Levante. Cars and Coffee Germany have very kindly been helping us out, just travelling around. So we'll do this soon again. Hi, thank you very much. Out to the roads. Alrighty then, so get ready for the V12. Oh yes. Who does not like that sound? Well, we've met up with a friend driving in an Ultraviolet GT3 RS, which is such a perfect colour for that car. A car I particularly enjoy the times that I've driven it. And we're currently driving down the Koenigsegg. Hey, look there, 360 AMG GTS. Just nice cars everywhere right now. And then there, the GT3 RS, who is going to park right there. Can we park here? Maybe we can. If we can, that's perfect. We'll just take a... why did that person get so impatient? Anyway, we'll park up somewhere, have a look around, see what's going on. So we've got a few nice cars around here in Dusseldorf, but don't the purple and blue look nice together? And this is kind of a teaser, because at top marks, we're going to have the LT Spider and the Vanquish, and have the purple and light blue. And that's kind of the two, I guess, Shmee 150 colours. If you've been following for a while, basically all of my main cars have always been light blue or purple. So, yeah, it's quite nice to be with a friend with the GT3 RS here. We're going to go and get a bite to eat and have a look around. So, another GTS drives by. Meanwhile, we are chilling at the TV cafe. Interesting cars everywhere. Newsflash then, I've got the key. I'm going to be able to jump in and take the GT3 RS for a drive with John here, who's going to jump in with me. Ben has jumped into the Vanquish. So, I do love this car, and we might be in town, but any opportunity to drive a GT3 RS is a good opportunity because this car is just fantastic. So thank you very much, John. John's Instagram is down below as well, guys. But let's start this up. There we go, 4 litre. Kicking into action, PDK. This thing is so super cool. I just love it, especially in this color, by the way. You have by far the best color for a GT3 RS. Hear the Vanquish a mile away. So, yeah, belt up somewhere. Get ready to take this for a little drive. Okay. So, let's roll out. This is quite a familiar seating position. The buckets are really good. Just feel completely at home already. I miss my Porsche. We're following the Vanquish, which is a little bit weird, but I hope Benzine enjoys it. Feels good to be back in here then. It's a very, very nice place in the GT3 RS, but this is not your first one, is it? This is, well, I mean, a GT3 RS is not normally someone's first Porsche, but what came before it for you?
Well, I had several Porsches before, but those which were more interesting, a GT4, a GT3.
Yeah.
And when the option came to configure one of the very last GT3 RS, it had to be in purple, and as that was possible, I was sold. I was sold in a color, actually.
I don't blame you one bit. It's such a cool color, and if I was speccing a GT3 RS, this is definitely how I would have had it. Ultraviolet. It's one of those colors that makes no sense, like Ruby Stone Red, that whole kind of pinky color on the 964 RS, but it just works. It just works. So well done this man for ordering this color.
Well, I must say, it's funny if you take this car out. I mean, surely it stands out because of the huge wing. And if you ask people, you know, what do you think about that color? It's either 50% will say, I love the color, it makes the car stand out, this is a color to buy. And other people would just say, how could you order such a great car in such an awkward color? So, well, I guess it's someone's choice, but to me it was the only choice.
Yeah, when you mentioned the wing, one of the funniest things about the rear wing in the GT3 RS is that you basically see backwards underneath it. It is so high that you look through the cage under the wing to see the road in your rearview mirror, which is unusual but funny.
I think the GT3 was worse as a rear view mirror than this car.
Because the GT3 had the wing at the right height. Don't know if you can swing the camera around backwards just to see what that looks like backwards, how the wing is up in the air.
And believe me, the wing from the outside looks even bigger than from the inside.
Yeah,
it's such a huge wing. And this is actually what I love about this car. It's actually a joke of itself. But it does the magic on the track for sure.
Yeah, but, it's when you stick hard on a corner, the way it just clings and grips when you drive it hard. And I've had a few times driving it, obviously out and about, in proper environments, shall we say, mountains in Europe and California. But even just poodling around, it feels really raw, very, very race car-like, of course, from the noises that you can hear. And the way the engine revs, I mean, obviously people don't get to experience this when we're driving, but if you pop it in neutral, it just revs up and screams so quickly. It is just one of the best, one of the absolute best. Anyway, thank you very much for letting me have a drive. Hope you guys like this car as much as I do. Just sad I missed out on one, really, when it came out. Oh well. Here we arrive at the Classic Remise. Look around. So the lift system, we'll put that up. Safety for the front nose, of course. Drop down here and have a look at what's going on. Now, I've ventured into Classic Remise a few times before and shown you around, but you have these storage boxes for people with their own cars. Ben's having a look too.
I have found my column. As far as dream two-car garages go in real life, that's pretty close. For GT and a GT350.
Yeah, you in a nutshell?
Pretty much, yeah.
You don't fancy the bit of a beast?
I don't think I'd want to drive that.
What else is around? Well, there's a Carabinieri Italian police car.
Could be handy.
Yeah, all sorts of different things pop up in here. Bright yellow Dino. Got a 300 SL, yeah. Once upon a time I was here, there was a 177 through the back.
Oh, that's you.
That was very me. You've now got the Dusseldorf dealership that's opened here. Let's wander around. GT3 RS.
Oh yeah, here we go. Fastback. I was going to guess 68, but it does say 1968 on the plate. I'm guessing that's a
It's probably
giveaway.
68.
Yeah.
And the more modern Menace alongside.
Yeah. Two
Interesting.
very different
So,
muscle cars.
audience question, you guys on the camera, SLR 722 or Mustang Fastback? I feel like everyone's going to say the SLR.
It can be unique.
GT12, the big V12 angry beast, surrounded by many wonderful things. Also here we have the Dusseldorf D8 GTO RS. So I've driven the regular D8 GTO with 380 horsepower, but they've now given it 415. It only weighs 695 kilos. So just to give you some numbers, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 2.7 seconds. 0 to 200 kilometers an hour is 7.5 seconds in something open that you're sat at the back. This is fast. And I'm going to be going for a test drive in one during Top Marks Monaco as well, one in a really bright colour. So, needless to say, I'm quite looking forward to driving it again, because when I drove the earlier car on a track, it was a lot of fun, and I'm going to bet that this is even more fun.
You didn't spot these, did you?
No, beelining to this corner for two very prominent reasons, two very bright and strong coloured reasons. We have a Bugatti EB110, the bright blue, Bugatti blue, next to the Ferrari F50, which I think I'm rapidly deciding is probably my favourite car in the world to drive. That is my dream one-day car probably at this point.
Super iconic.
Yeah, and is it 349 of them in the world? Do you know what? It's kind of strange seeing the shape of that with the rear when it doesn't have a wing or anything on it, like most of this sort of era of cars. But even back then, huge monster of an engine, massively turbocharged, EB110 GT. It's crazy to think, everybody thinks of Veyrons and forgets that there was actually a monstrous Bugatti that came before that.
The granddaddy.
Yeah, the granddaddy of it all. And I'm going to point out the colour of this car, because it's just odd.
What would you even call that? Like toothpaste green.
Toothpaste green.
It's probably not the official title.
Daytona. Yeah. There's always nice stuff to come exploring in here. And everybody's going to say, why didn't you point at this? Why didn't you point at that? We hear it all the time. LM002, Countach next to it, many other jewels in the room. And I wish I could spend ages showing you all everything with somebody who could point out what every single car was. I'm really sorry about that, guys. But it would take me a little bit too long to learn everything. So I just stick with kind of the cars I know, which is obviously the stuff from my generation, my era, brands I know more about. But it's pretty fun to look around. Yeah?
Classic.
Up Benn Street.
This is serious 60s icon. Just look at the front. They don't make cars that look like that anymore, do they?
Not
That's
really.
a spaceship from the 60s.
Probably stood out more then than something like a P1 does now.
Kind of, yeah.
And you know what? I'm actually going to point at the M3 because there's going to be lots of love for this. E30, old school. If I didn't point the camera at that, I know what the audience would say.
You'd say bad Tim.
Yes, I would be in trouble. While we're still here, we're just looking around the F50 a little bit more. The craziest thing with this is that you can see the weave completely. You can nearly always see it through the paint on the F40s and the F50. But here it's so much more obvious than normal. That's all the carbon fibre bodywork from the 90s. But one of the things is that this car came out in 95, so the 50 is the car for me, although most people, Ben included, prefer the F40s. But for me, this came out when I was 8 years old. So this was the car that I had on posters when I was growing up, not the F40, because they stopped producing it when I was about 3 years old. So the F50 is kind of my, dream Ferrari poster car. And that is why 50, not 40 for me. Ben just likes twin turbos.
Well, no, I will concede to you that this sounds better. You
Yes,
can't beat
V12. Racing, Formula One
Sure.
race-derived V12.
But there's just something about the F40. Maybe you can't put it into words, but it's just...
They crackle nicely.
Yeah, it's not even the sound, it's just the looks of the 40 and...
Okay, yeah, I agree. Most people definitely prefer the looks of the 40, but for me, it's the curves of the 50.
We each have our own tastes.
Yes, and well, that's the wonderful thing. That's why we have so many cars in the first place. Otherwise, we'd all be driving very boring black Priuses or something.
Yeah.
And we
God forbid.
we do not want that world.
Oh.
We found an F40.
And if I could choose any car here, this would be mine.
And Benz.
Man of exquisite taste.
Oh yes.
It is nice. I'm not denying that.
It'd be nice if we had some lights on, but
Yeah,
yes.
well, still.
Beautiful.
Ferrari F40. Cool, so the guys are going to head off in the GT3 RS. We're going to head to our next stop in the Vanquish, but we'll just watch them roll out for the moment. Coming around this thing that I parked next to. It is a very, very cool car. So off they go. See you later. So on to our next stop for Ben and I. He's going to go slow over the speed bump. I think I'm going to let Ben drive again. I should probably get the key out of my pocket so we can unlock the car and get in, get ready to go. Boop. Off we go. You're driving.
Let's roll.
Do you want that?
I do.
Yeah. And onwards we go. So it's been quite fun being reunited with the car, driving in the GT3 RS, coming to visit Classic Remise. Usual kind of day with nothing really planned that ends up being an adventurous day after all, but I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for watching as always, guys. A couple of videos coming right up, driving some cool stuff as well. That's it for now though. I'll catch up with you again very soon. Cheers.